Hello everyone, and welcome to the NinjaTrader webinar room. Before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to test for picture and sound. So if you can hear my voice and see the projection in the room, please enter a Y and let us know if you can hear us. Fantastic. Sounds like I'm coming in loud and clear. My name is Danielle Yeager, and I work on the NinjaTrader business development team here at our Denver office. We have a very special event for you today with Jordan Slider. At this point, I would like to enter a poll into the room, and the question is, are you currently using NinjaTrader? NinjaTrader is pleased to sponsor these weekly partner events as value-added service to our clients, and to add, my apologies, these events are intended to provide increased exposure to the various trading styles and methods taught by our partners. So if you see value in these, we hope you're able to attend them regularly. Also, NinjaTrader has added additional free online training events throughout the week, including NinjaTrader Advanced Trade Management that will be in this room shortly after this event. Let's take a moment to look at these poll results. Looks like we have about, we're at a tie for lifetime license users and free license users. I have a few people that are leasing a license, and I'm happy to see there's also some people in here who haven't yet downloaded NinjaTrader. I'm going to go ahead and close this out for now. Now, for those of you who have not downloaded NinjaTrader, you should know that NinjaTrader is free for advanced charting, market analytics, automated strategy development, connecting to a live data provider, and simulated trading. We only charge for our product if and when you decide to trade live through any of our over 100 supported brokers worldwide. If you have not already done so, I would invite you to download NinjaTrader at the following link. Purchasing a lifetime license is by far the best value for serious traders and is available for a one-time payment of just $9.95 or 4 monthly payments of $2.99. Alternatively, you may choose to lease NinjaTrader for an amount of time that makes sense to you. We have several flexible leasing plans starting as low as $180 a month. You can purchase or lease NinjaTrader at the following link. I would like to note that NinjaTrader is a front-end trading platform and not a data provider or broker, and therefore you will need to connect to one of our supported data providers. NinjaTrader supports equities, futures, and forex markets. I would like to note that Kinetic has been designed to be the optimal market data feed for NinjaTrader 7 platform and is free for end-of-day data for stocks, futures, and forex. You can find out more information about Kinetic at the following link. And Mike is correct, yes, per quarter. Let's see. Now we are very excited in this special event today with Jordan Slider, founder of NQTrader, as he demonstrates approximately 12 hours of live market trading and then also over 45 winning trade setups that are typical in the NQTrader day. Thank you once again for presenting today, and Jordan, and go ahead and take it away.
Thanks, Danielle. So hi, good afternoon, and I'm Jordan Slider. Just introduce myself one more time. I've been trading for about 20 years, and I've been trading price action exclusively with this system for about 5 years now. I'm always trying to come up with an easier way to explain what I do, and price action is a little different than indicators. Where you can just say, here's an indicator, here's how it works, and press this button. Well, price action, there's obviously some more to it, and then trying to get it into a format where I can display it in an hour over a webinar. Sometimes that becomes a little difficult also. And everybody knows it's been trading a while. Nothing is real simple in this business. So what I try and do is smash in the 12-hour day plus some demos into about an hour. I use market replay. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. And I try to limit all the questions till the end, and then I'll do a question and answer. Can everybody hear me okay? I see a low volume. Everybody else okay? Okay, good. I'll try and read off the side. and hopefully I'll be pretty clear. Okay, to give you a little background, we're trading off a 5-minute chart. We're going to be trading the NQ. I pretty much teach solely on the NQ, although it's not exclusively used in the type of trading we do. I just like to teach off of it. There's a few different reasons. We trade off support and resistance. We trade off reversal patterns, trend lines. It's a fairly easy concept to grasp the whole thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through some static charts. They're just images of charts first, last week actually, and talk a little bit about how it works, some of the indicators that we use, or the lack of indicators that we use, and then I'm going to run through market replay last for actually the last day, Friday. So this will be from last Monday to Friday of the past week. We had the FOMC meeting on Wednesday. So there should be some interesting days in there. The charts are all real charts marked up by me. We go over all these charts in class every single day in group, live, and that's where we do the trades. Now, all the trades we take, they're all rules-based trades. Okay, that means every exit and entry is known ahead of time. We chart them, we look for them, we have stops, we have entries. We know where our targets are. We also use what I call negative indicators to keep us out of trades. In group and class, that's primarily what we focus on, is these rules, learning the rules, going over them, step by step, because there's not a lot, but it's complex and there's a lot of pieces to it. So that's what we focus on in teaching. Now, our best trading days are typically when the market's in congestion. Okay, and when I say congestion, I mean flat. And everybody knows it's been trading. That's about 80%, maybe more of the time. It's not too often we get real consistent up days or real consistent down days. It's typically flat days. And on these flat days, in a 12-hour period or a 13-hour period, and that's usually when I chart for, from about 3 a.m. when the European markets open until around 4 p.m. So it's a 13-hour period. We'll see roughly 50 trades on a flat day. Now that would be a high day, okay? And on the low side of that, on a trending day where the market is shooting straight up or shooting straight down, we'll probably see closer to like 30 trades. Some days it's been as low as 24, 25, fairly rare to see them that low. In a couple days we get up 55, 56 trades in that period of time. And that's really the best trading hours. Anybody that's been trading the E-minis knows those hours. Those are when we're active. So, trend days, which there's few and far between, we still get quite a few trades. Regardless of the directions the market's taking, we usually end up with about 80% winners every day. And typically it can be more than that, but I like to say 80%. Okay, and on these charts, the days that I'm going to show you, I think we had a couple days that were over 90%. And yeah, there's that many trades on a 5-minute chart. We see them, and I'm going to bring up the charts in a few minutes just to show you. Okay, and like I said, I have last week's charts with varying market conditions to show everyone. I'll explain the basics of the trades along with the entries and the exits. I'll walk everyone through every day of the week so we can really see and understand the trades, understand it. You'll get a chance to look at this, and you'll also get a chance to ask questions. And then finally, again, I'll run NinjaTrader Market Replay so you can watch the live trades. Okay, and if anybody's interested in checking out a free group, or a trial, you're more than welcome to come in. The groups are live every morning from 8:30 to 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And anybody can join in. Anybody can try it out. All you have to do is send me an email. My email address is up there. Phone number's up there. Give me a call and request access to the room. I'll let you in, and you can ask questions. You can see the charts. You can go through it. And I also want to let everybody know that anybody that signs up for through this webinar, after this webinar for the next couple days, I'll give a $200 discount for the day group, okay, and that's the 8:30 to 11:30 classes and groups, and a $100 discount to the evening groups. That's the group from 7 to 9. And 7 to 9 group is a little bit different format, but generally the same teaching. We do have some other classes we offer. The other classes will not be eligible for the discounts. It's just the two price action futures groups, the one that trades in the morning and the one that trades in the evening. Okay, so let's get started. And first slide I'm going to bring up. Let me see if I can flip this over. Okay, here we go. And make sure that this is, I know it's a little bit delayed, so I want to make sure we have the right one. Okay, that's it. So that is 6/16. So that's last Monday. Yes, all Eastern time. Everything's Eastern time. Okay, and you can see from this chart that I'm not sure how clear it is for everyone. I guess it's pretty clear. You just have to adjust your size. I'm looking at it in a couple different angles. The chart has markings throughout the whole thing, and I'm going to go and explain the markings and go over it. So we had 40 trades on this day. 33 were winners and 7 were losers. 82% is what we ended up with. Okay, and this was contract rollover week. Yeah, it's a 5-minute chart. Okay, and this was Monday of contract expiration was Friday. So we were kind of in the midst of two contracts. It was a little bit of a strange week, a little lighter volume than what we normally see, and it was spread out over the two contracts. It wasn't until probably Wednesday that it started to get a little more stable. We got a little bit more onto one contract, split fairly evenly, probably halfway through the week. Okay, so what we're doing is we're trading off support and resistance. And this is a 20-period EMA, and we do some trades off the 20-period EMA. Okay, we trade off of trend lines, and that's the blue lines that you'll see running up and down the chart, and they're all manually drawn, the trend lines. The EMA is an automatic indicator. That's an easy one right there. And then the horizontal lines, there's 5 of them that you can see. There's actually more on the chart, but they're up higher and down lower. They're overnight high, low, close, open. There's 7 of them all together, varying different locations on the chart that we adjust from the prior day and the overnight session. And we trade off of those. And we also have a reversal pattern that we trade off of. And that's a little more complicated. I'm not going to really get into too much about that here because it tends to be a little confusing. But, real easy to see on here what we have as far as trend lines. So wherever you see a red arrow, that's a short trade. A green arrow is a long trade. And you can see them throughout the chart. So each one of those is a trade. Wherever you see maybe a red trend line or an X, or usually they're a red trend line or an X, that's a losing trade. Okay, and like I said, there's 7 losers throughout the 13-hour period in here. Okay, so we're marking our charts throughout the day. As the chart's moving over, we're going live. We're drawing trend lines from a price failure to a price failure, which may or may not be proprietary terminology, but we teach it in the class. Okay, we have these blue dots, which we call near misses. Those are negative indicators. We have a few negative indicators that will actually keep us out of trades. Okay, so when we come across a negative indicator, we wouldn't take a trade. So for example, right here, here's an obvious trend line, shoots way up here. I'm not going to be able to answer the questions, and I'll get to the profit and loss in a second, but it'll just be too much to answer all the individual questions. But like I said, you're more than welcome to come into group, or at the end, we'll try and go through some questions. So for example, these 2 blue dots, those are what we call near misses, and that would keep you out of a trade. Okay, and you'll see those throughout the negative indicators. Here's a red X over here, a losing trade, and this is a typical day chart. Okay, 40 trades, 33 wins, 7 losses, 82%. Okay, going throughout the day, trades throughout. What we do for targets, okay, we have specific targets that we shoot for every trade. Okay, no, nothing's automatic. Everything's manual. The only thing on here that's automatic is the EMA. Everything on there we put manually on there. The EMA is the only gimme. That's the free one. Okay, we look to make 2 points off a winning trade. Okay, 8 ticks. And on the downside, we're looking for 3 points, 12 ticks. Okay, so it's a 3-point stop loss and a 2-point target. I know somebody asked that question in there. And, you know, it's really difficult for me to read through the questions as they come through. I understand that there's a lot of questions and they'll be coming up. But again, you know, I encourage you to, you know, contact me directly after the webinar if you have questions, if you want to know more about it. You can shoot me emails, you can call me, and or you can come to a free group, anyone you want. Okay? Don't have a problem with that. So 2-point stop losses on winning trades. 2 points is what we're looking for, or 3 points negative. Okay, and those are specific targets, specific rules. We don't make exceptions to these things. Okay, they're not. It's not kind of a fly by the pants system. Everything's exact. Okay, strict set of rules, and that's how we're able to manage risk, minimize losses by these rules. Okay, it really makes a big difference in trading if you trade by the rules. And you know, the guys that have been doing this for a while, again, everybody knows that. Okay, we'll move right into the 617 chart, and there's a couple other things on here that I want to talk about and give you more of an indication of what we see. So in the pre-market, real early in the morning, you know, we're not exactly flat, but we have a trading range, and we had a little bit of a drop down and then a trading range right here. Yeah, that's 8-tick stop loss. Okay, 8-tick stop loss. You're going to catch me reading, you guys, and trying to answer the questions quickly. Okay, and right around this time over here, and I'm really having a hard time seeing this on my monitor. I guess it's about 8:30. It just looks really small. We have an R right here, and I know it's a report, okay, and I know it was an R, and we mark reports, okay? We mark speeches, reports, FOMC meetings, non-farm payroll, all that stuff, and in price action, we avoid these reports, okay? We're trading purely technical analysis, purely based on price action, so when we come across a report or a speech, we stand aside. We stand aside on the open also. Okay, these are really, really difficult times to trade, and you know what we find is it's better not to trade them. Now, occasionally we get winners through these times. It doesn't really make that much of a difference one way or another, but it's hard to manage the volatility. When we get an entry short and the bar drops down like this, chances of actually getting that fill and getting out in a reasonable time are pretty difficult. Just doesn't really happen that readily. So we avoid fundamentals. One of the things we do first thing every morning is we mark up the charts, we mark up the reports, we mark up the speeches, and we avoid them. We stay away from those type of fundamentals because it's just difficult to trade. So what you can see here is kind of a level congestion area through the pre-market, a little bit of a run up and run down in through here, and then a report, which we avoid, and then the open, same thing, a lot of volatility through the open, then back down the other way, okay, and this is fairly typical between the hours of 9:30 and 11:30, 9:30 and 12. We see a lot of this, okay, that's fairly common. Then the afternoon, it smooths out a lot, okay, and we get usually a good bit of trades in the afternoon, a good bit of trades in the morning. And the trades during the mid-morning session are sometimes a little more difficult, although days can vary, and usually it can be pinned on market volatility based on fundamentals. That's usually where we get our problems from. So, like I said, we avoid those. Okay, so this was 38 trades overall, 32 wins and 6 losses. Okay, that's an 84% ratio on this. Now, most of the early morning, like I said, most mornings are similar, slow, volume's a little light. Okay, then we have the up and down, and then it slows down in the afternoon. And that's typical of a day. Okay, that's typically what we get. So I don't see any more events in here that I really want to talk about, and I just want to move right along into Wednesday. Okay, and Wednesday was our FOMC meeting. I'm sure everybody was aware of that. We had an interest rate decision, and that was at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, and once again, trend lines throughout the day. Okay, and EMA trades, and you can see the red arrows and the green arrows, the longs and the short trades. The blue dots are representing the near misses, where we wouldn't take a trade because of the blue dots. They actually keep us out of trades that are potential losers. Okay, trades off the horizontal resistance, and it was a fairly flat day. And number-wise, you know, it was a very, very good day. We only had 3 losers all day long. 36 trades, 33 winners, and 3 losers over that 13-hour period. Most of the trades were during the morning session, but we had quite a few in the afternoon too. And you know, with the flat trading, that's when we excel. That's when we excel. When the market starts pushing up, okay, like we were doing here, we were really moving up fast. FOMC announcement, we had a failure right here. This was actually before the announcement. And, you know, typically stuff like this is like what you'd see as a trap. Okay, this is a value area being created. Short sellers are pushing the market down, anticipating a rise, trying to create a value area to jump into the trades. And, you know, we know about this, and it's pretty easy to spot. So, you know, like I said, we avoid these fundamentals. We avoid the traps. We stay out of this kind of trading. And then coming up, okay, we didn't have that many trades. We only had 6 or 7 trades going up, but all those trades were good trades. Okay, counter trend scalp trades in a rising market with an FOMC report, all based off of horizontal resistance numbers. They all went to target. All good trades. Okay, so, you know, as you can see, different varying conditions, we get similar results. You know, as long as things stay uniform, as long as we don't get unknown volatility, we do very, very well at trading this way. Okay, I'm going to move right on to Thursday. Okay, and not much difference on Thursday. It was another very good day, only 4 losers. 37 trades, 33 winners, and 4 losers over the course of the day. You know, something that you can see right here, here's a trend line that we drew somewhere around 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning, okay? And it just extended out here, and eventually it got hit, and the price reverses right off the trend line, and it goes to target. And, you know, that shows you the power of these trend lines. A lot of people, you know, are a little skeptical about a trend line, but you see these over the course of the day, and you'll put them in here and they extend way out to nowhere, and when we hit them, the price stops and turns around, because a lot of people trade very, very similar to this. Price action isn't really proprietary. There's a lot of people that teach it out there. I think everybody has different methods of teaching it, but you know, it's taught. So this day we had 4 losers. One thing you'll notice here, this is a -4. That was a very small loser. Okay, there was another trade that took us out of that trade with instead of a 12-tick loss, it was only an 8-tick loss. But I still count it as a full loser. I don't differentiate the exact ticks. It's a little too complex to do that. But overall for the day, like I said, we had 4 losers. Okay, and we had a report here. You can see an R right here. Kept us out of a trade. If there was a trade that took place on that bar, we wouldn't take it. Okay, overall good day. Like I said, 90%. Outstanding week. Okay, and I want to jump right into, you know what, some people will trade runners. The basic system that we teach, we don't trade runners. I do teach some other venues with this system, and we do use runners in that. But with this, we're pretty strict on the rules. Well, the trend lines are always the same based on the user drawing them, because you're drawing them manually. Okay, I don't want to get too too off, but okay, so here's Friday. Okay, Friday we had 33 trades, 29 winners and 4 losers. Okay, it's an 88% day. Okay, and this was last Friday, and you can see fairly flat, and then in this period right here we had some volatility up, some volatility down, you know, right through the open. That mid-morning volatility, it's very common. Okay, that's the kind of trading that we see on a regular basis. And then the afternoons flatten out. A lot of good trades in the afternoon. This is the day we're going to run a market replay. Okay, and we're just going to talk about the individual trades. We're going to spend just enough time to, you know, to go through it. I'm going to explain how they set up, explain how they how we anticipate them, and the entries and the exits, and then we'll jump into a question and answer session for maybe the last 10 or 15 minutes, you know, and I'll see if I can come up with answers to everybody's questions. And just remember, you know, once again, everybody's welcome to call me. You know, I'm a small boutique school. It's me. I have 2 other teachers, and we really teach almost the same thing. You know, we're really good with our students. We do a lot of one-on-one stuff. It's not a video. We're not selling videos. We're teaching. I have a lot of faith in this system. I've been trading it for a long time, and I really like it. So, you know, rather than you know, trust my words, come into a group once or twice and check it out. That's what I encourage people to do. Okay, so let me just switch over to market replay and see how this works. Good, okay. Now I can actually see my chart. Okay, so this is, as we just saw over there, let me just go back. Okay, this is the beginning of the day, and we're going to start right over here at 3 a.m. I just have a little bit of the chart already drawn in. Okay, and this is 3 a.m. that day. Okay, and I put one trend line in, and I just want to kind of explain this, and I'm going to expand this a little bit, and we'll work through piece by piece, and it'll make it a little bit easier for people to see. Hopefully, it comes through with my voice and my cursor at about the same time. Sometimes I have that problem when I'm teaching. You know, that's a good question, and I want to answer that, okay? So, yes, at the very beginning, I just teach students how to draw trend lines, and there's a lot of objective rules, okay? It's all rules-based, but there's some subjectivity to the trend lines. But what we found is that 2 students or 2 teachers or a teacher and a student all pretty much draw the same trend lines. It doesn't seem to make a difference, okay? And that's, you know, that's the question was, since they're not automatic, it seems almost impossible that students will pick up the same swing high and low. But really, a trend line is following the trend. And when you learn to follow the trend, you do really well at this. And the trend lines are hard. You know, none of this is easy. I'm not selling an automatic system where you know, put a couple trades in and walk away. You know, you're charting, you're learning to chart, you're learning to trade. It's for active traders, people that want to trade. And if, you know, you don't have to trade all day. You can trade for about 3 hours. That's usually what I encourage people to do when they're first learning, is a couple hours of trading. And usually you have a pretty successful day. You're not going to get rich quick. You know, you're not going to click a button and go to the beach and come back and have money in your account, but it works. It really works. Okay, so for example, and I'm going to give you a little background on how this works. We call these price failures. Okay, this would be a candle that's lower than a candle on either side. So right here you can see it. This candle is lower than this candle and this candle on either side. And this would be a price failure low. And then over here you have a price failure high. Here you have another price failure high. So those are the first pieces that you use to draw trend lines. So you draw from price failure to price failure. There's quite a few other rules that go with it, but you know, the basic gist of it is that's how you draw a trend line. And that's how you would draw a trend line on any chart. You would go from a high to a high or a low to a low. But this is a little more detailed than your typical typical trend line. Okay, and what we're looking for is an entry or something that comes down almost to that point, okay, and gives us an entry on a trend line. Okay, and what we see right here, this is our first one. We draw a trend line, we extend it off, and we'd extend this thing off, you know, somewhere in the distances. As the bars materialize, we're looking for a bar to come close enough to give us an entry. Okay, and that entry, okay, as you can see, was right down here. And then we would cut the trend line off, and we would take a long trade. And that's a long trade. And we'd wait for the bar to go up 8 ticks, and we take our profit. So that's an 8-tick profit, a 2-point profit on that trade. Okay, it comes down, tags the line, and goes on. Okay, as we move up here, okay, we're looking for an EMA trade right here. And I can't reverse this because I lose a lot of things. It doesn't have the ability to reverse. But as we come down, we tag the EMA, and we also tag this horizontal resistance line right here. We broke through it a tick, but we have a 12-tick stop loss. Okay, so there's no big deal in coming through a tick, and then we come up to profit. Okay, and right here, we're only up 6 ticks, but if we run market replay right through, you'll see that it'll just come right up. And what will happen is we'll go, let me speed it up a little bit faster. Okay, and so right about in here, this trade goes to profit, 8 ticks. And that's our profit on that trade. And now we're looking for a trend line up here. Okay, and you can see we've drawn this trend line up from the 355 candle up until the 505 candle. The entries when we hit the trend line. So we're about to hit it right here. And I'm cheating. I'm looking at the real chart on my right. But what you'll see is we'll come up and we'll hit this. We're going to take an entry somewhere right around here when it hits it at about 93. Okay, let me speed it up just a little bit more because this is pretty early in the morning and the market's not moving very fast. Okay. Guess I got to get to about 15. So there it goes, okay? That was our entry. And, you know, I speeded it up enough. And we would take a short trade right there at 93. Okay, and then we're waiting for it to come down or reverse off another trade. Okay, and in the interim, let me just look. I'm looking at the chart. I think the next trade coming up is an EMA trade. So let's watch and see how this, why short? Because we expect the price to come down. That's how it works. These support and resistance areas hold the trade, hold the price in. So we expect it to come down. Okay, let me speed it up a little more. I think we have about 20 minutes. We actually come up through our trend line. And I'm going to cut this trend line off because that's what we do when we hit it. So we're in a short trade right here. And remember, this is pre-market. It's running a little slower than usual. Okay, at pre-market, you know, we don't really get, we have a lot of time in between trades, and during the day they come a little faster. Our next trade is about a half an hour off or on this. Okay, so right now we've come against us 3 ticks. The trade's only gone against us 3 ticks. It's gone in our favor 3 ticks. Okay, that line is holding. I'm going to speed it up a little bit more, and I'll keep trying to walk us through this. Okay, and what we're looking for is we're looking for 8 ticks down. Okay, 93, which would be 91. Okay, or possibly another trade going in the other direction will reverse us. Okay, and now we've come down 3 ticks, not quite to profit yet, obviously. Let me speed it up a little bit more. Again, I'm cheating. I'm looking over at the other chart, so I know where the trade's going to come. Okay, there it is, right there. Sorry, I wanted to stop it a little bit before. I sped up a little too fast, but this is the long. Okay, and this reverses us out of that trade into a long trade. Okay, 93. and 91.25. So it becomes a 7-tick target because we hit the EMA. Okay, so instead of making 8 on this, you make about 7, maybe 6 is all you got out of that because of the EMA long. Okay, now you're in an EMA long trade. Okay, and let's speed it up. And this might have been 91.25, probably 91.50. That's it. Okay, and then profit on this comes a little bit farther out. Let me see if I can get to it fairly quickly. We got a couple. Okay. There. That's our next price failure. Okay, our next trade, actually, what we have now is we have another trend line coming down right here, and we hit that trend line, and that was actually where we took profit on this trade. Okay, so that one becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ticks. We don't take trades over and over again on the EMA. Okay, and I can tell you a little bit more about the rules in class. We won't have time to really talk about those in details, but here's our next short trade right there. Okay, and this reverses us. So those are shorter, they're a little shorter profits than that. And now we come up again. Let me see if I can get these next price failures in and get a little bit more drawn on the chart. Okay, so now we would draw a trend line out here. Okay, and we're in this short trade, and this short trade went to target, clearly. Okay, and I think we have another trend line coming up from here. Okay, and we have a long trade right here. Okay, and this reverses us down. We go long off of this. Okay, now we're in our long trade, and I think that's it below us. We have a bunch of near misses. Yeah, always use 5-minute charts. Always use. There's a few other trading things in here also. Philip, we use the EMA trend lines, and we use these horizontal resistance lines right in here. And like I said, there's a bunch more horizontal resistance lines you can't see. So here's that long trade. It comes up. That one clearly goes to 8 ticks target. We reversed off the EMA, if I understand your question. Oh, no, we don't take EMAs over and over and over again. There's a bunch of different rules. If that's what you're talking about. No, we don't keep taking the EMA trade. Once we take it, we have another rule that keeps us out of it for a certain period of time. Okay. So let me see if I can get one more trend line in here, and I definitely want to leave time for questions. And let's see if I speed this up a little bit, what we're going to get. I think we're going to hit this. We actually have a loser coming up. So this is going to end up being a losing trade right here because we don't get out. And I'm going to show you what happens. Okay. So we have another bar right all over the place. We had another one back here. Okay. And when we get a near miss, they could keep us out of a trade, and they could also take us out of a trade. So right here, we're in a short trade. Okay. And we're waiting for this trade to come to target. So let's speed it up a little bit. Let's see if I can pinpoint this near miss. Okay, I know where it is exactly. And we have another trend line coming up here. Okay. So what happened right here is we get a potential of a near miss. So we get another near miss off of this trend line right here. Okay, and we would mark it like that. And that takes us out of this trade when this near miss completes up here at a 4-tick loss. So this trade becomes a 4-tick loser because of a near miss. So these are how the negative indicators actually interact with the trade. Okay, and they'll take you out of a winning trade. It happens now and then. Okay, we have trades that possibly could have won or we weren't ready to get out, but that's how the rules work. We try and stick to the rules as much as possible. Otherwise, you're not really going to get anywhere without the rules. Okay, let's just take a look and see what happens right here. I have another trend line coming up from here to here, and we hit it right here. So there's our short trade. Okay, and as you can see, it's coming right down. Now the rules are pretty standard. You know, no matter what direction it's going, the rules work. It's a really neat system. I got to tell you, it's a really neat system. Okay, so, and you know, I guess that you're probably always going to hear that from somebody who's teaching it, so that's probably not a fair comment on my side. Let me see what we had here. If we had, now, you know what? This is not, this is the next trend line coming up here. Okay, there we go. And where's my price there? I think it's a little bit farther up. Let me speed up through here. I've had people go, it's fairly complex. No, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Okay, there's a lot to it, but it just takes time. And you know, I offer the coaching that most people need. You know, if people want to commit to it, they do fairly well. As far as other markets, yeah, I know some people that trade the S&P. The Dow's pretty slow, but you can trade the Dow. So here it is again, okay, and we came down right here, and we went long on this one. Okay, this is a pre-market high right here, this blue line. So we and no, I've never done the TF, but I know people that do. I know people that have moved around. Okay, so you know, we see that. So let's high. There's a couple more in here. And again, when we're moving at a slower pace, it's a little easier to put these trend lines in. This was right here. And we actually had long here and a second long off the EMA that both went to target up in here. Oh, a lot of questions. You know, I want to tell you that it's fairly objective, okay? There's just a few little areas that you have, but there's a lot of rules. There's a lot of rules. Okay, let's just speed it up a little bit, and we can kind of buzz through a few more entries real quick, and then we'll do some questions and answers. I see a lot of good questions, and I want to answer them for everybody. But okay, so right here we had a trade, and this was a horizontal resistance trade, and I'm sorry I didn't back it up, but you would have seen what happened was we came down here, went right up to target, and then afterwards we came through, and that's fairly typical. And then we created what's called a near miss down here. So this trade went to target. This EMA trade is a loser right here. Okay, so I'm looking at my other chart, and this is clearly a loser. We had a near miss here, and if we had had 2 near misses, we wouldn't have taken this EMA trade. Okay, it would have kept us out of the EMA trade, and then that happens. So right here, as you can see, we came up, we created a near miss, back down, and if we had one more near miss, we wouldn't have taken this. So we didn't, and that ended up being a losing trade. Coming down, again, you know, my timing's a little off here, but there's a trend line coming down, and this trade, I think, goes to target. Entry was right here at 37, and it doesn't go to target right away, but it goes to target out here a little bit more. And there's actually another trend line off of this point. This point created a lot of winning trades. I think over the course of the day, we had 5 or 6 winning trades off of that point. Okay, right there. Right there. Those both went to target. Let me switch over from market replay, and we're going to look at the chart again. Okay, so, you know, here's the chart, and you can see that it's fairly similar. I didn't quite get all the near misses in. Everything was like a little bit different. The horizontal levels are all from the day before. They're, you know, I don't want to tell you the proprietary because the first day you come into group, you'll know what they are, but they're yesterday's highs, lows, closes. I use specific times. I don't use the 5:15 close, obviously. The overnight high and low, and then the weekly numbers. You know, I have some, you know, nothing's really proprietary. But like I said, the first time you come into a group, you'll figure that out. One of the things that a lot of people will do, and you know, I encourage you to spend a little time and ask questions if you do come into group, is, you know, you can't trade off of any one of these indicators. Okay, you can't just put the horizontal lines up. You can't just put the EMA up. You can't just trade off the trend lines. You can't trade off the double top, double bottom trades. They all work together, and they produce winning trades, because one trade will take you out of another one. And if you're waiting for an 8-tick profit and another trade comes along and takes you out at 6, and then it turns around and goes back the other way against you 12 ticks, well, you had a winning trade that turned into a losing trade because you weren't aware of the other trades. So, you know, you get a lot of people that'll come in and they'll try and do 1 or 2 trades. And when I teach people about learning the trades first, understanding the trades first, then charting the trades, and then trading the trades. It's a 3-step process, you know, and it really does take time. Okay, so, you know, we have about 10 minutes left, and I'd like to, you know, do some questions and answers. I see a bunch of them on there. So let's start with Jack's question. How much time do you have for new members in the trade? You know, my groups and classes are fairly small. Okay, we never have more than 25 people. Usually it's between 12 and 15 during the day. The evening classes are even smaller and more personal. And I spend phone time with people. I'm not afraid to talk on the phone. I answer emails readily. I work with people one-on-one if they need it. You know, I mean, I've never had a problem answering people's questions. I'm not buzzing through 100 people a week on this. You know, I like to, you know, I like to take time. I really enjoy when I get a student that gets it, you know, and everybody that's been trading a while knows that, you know, success rate is fairly low at this. And a lot of people don't get it. You know, they just don't become successful traders. And, you know, I don't know if it's necessarily the system as much as, you know, understanding the system and the teachers. I think I really do take the time. Yeah, I do call the trades in the room, but one thing that you'll notice is that you can't piggyback trades to learn in the beginning. Yeah, I do. That's what we do. That's mostly what it's about, is actually calling the trades out and talking about them as they set up. I do get people that want to come in and they want to piggyback and they want to trade off my calls. It doesn't work. And, you know, for now, because of our limitations on times, I can tell you that you might get a few of them. But remember, these trades, I mean, we're trading in and out of patterns here with 8 ticks. And you can see the bars, they go up and down pretty quick. So if my voice is a second or two delayed and my picture is a second or two delayed, you're going to get a whole different trade. You're not going to get in, you're not going to get out. You know, you combine that with a tick of slippage or 2 ticks of slippage and commission, you're just setting yourself up for losing trades. You know, one of the things we talk about is learning to trade your own chart. Okay, and that's part of what we teach. Two prices for the night course is different than the day course. And again, I can explain it to you. There's a little more time in the day. We spend a few more hours in the morning class. We spend 3 hours versus 2 hours in the morning, and we do have the the live sessions. The evening class is just a little bit cheaper for that reason. The evening class is 4 days a week, 2 hours a day. The day class is 5 days a week, 3 hours a day. Okay. John, you asked 8:30 to 11:30 about how many trades we get. We typically, during that period, we can see anywhere from 10 to 15 trades, sometimes less. The numbers vary greatly on the times, but 3 hours and 10 trades is about average. How many weeks? I allow 4 months in my groups. After that, there's an additional charge, but you can stay in 4 months with me and trade. Okay, that's what you get for the price. The learning curve, the learning curve is, it's a difficult system, but it's not, it's complex, but it's not that hard. If you stick with it and this is what you want to learn, you'll learn. The guys that have been with me for a while that learn it, pick it up. I mean, and the percentage of successful students, I don't know. I want to say that it's probably 25% to 30% are successful. It might be a little higher. I get a few people that drop out pretty quick. I discourage people from joining that are looking for something that's automatic. If you're looking for an automatic system, if you're looking for a press a button and make money type of system, if you're looking for those beach trades where, or laundry trades where you just go do your laundry, that's not what this is. Okay, it's not a get-rich-quick trading system. This is, you're working, you're on the screen and you're learning to chart and you're working and you got to focus. I don't watch TV, I don't watch the news. I get all my news events on the screen ahead of time and I trade, and I trade for 3 hours, and that's how I do it, and that's how I make money. If you want to trade for 6 hours, you're going to make more money. If you can trade 9 hours, you're going to make more. I send out materials, and we talk about, yeah, I send out materials, but most of the learning is done in the group environment, watching the trades. There's, anybody that's ever traded a system, that's ever bought something or bought some DVDs and tried it, they'll know it works one time, and then the next time it doesn't work. They get wiped out, or they win 3 and lose 1 big one. Well, one of the things we teach is that you have to really understand the instrument you're trading, and that's why we stick exclusively with the NQ. Okay, we don't trade 5 different markets. Although some people go on to do that, we specifically work with the NQ. Okay, and you learn the NQ, and after that, if you want to go out and trade the ES or the Russell or whatever you want to trade, you can do that. Okay, they all have very similar characteristics and similar price action trading. You just have to modify a few different things, targets, possibly near misses. For the most part, you can trade almost anything. Okay, but we focus on teaching within the NQ. That way, it just works a little smoother for everybody. The materials, like I said, I could teach you the materials in an hour. I could create an hour of DVDs and you would understand that, but you're not going to be ready for all the little nuances. That's where it takes time. That's where I like to, spend time. The NQ better than the ES, I think there's more volatility, so it's easier to trade. Exactly. The NQ is much easier to watch. It's not as boring. So I'll give you that in a minute, Pierre. I'll talk about the discounts. Bigger tick value. Yeah, that's true. The bigger tick value is harder on the ES. A lot of people are scared, especially new traders to the system. It's easier to trust $40 and $60. You can trade up on the NQ. You're not going to be able to trade more than 10 contracts, and that's going to be a little difficult. Okay, it's more like a 5 contract area, 6, 7. You know, the commissions are only, you know, $4 or $5. I don't think it's that much different. You know, commission should be about 1 tick round turn. If you're paying more than that on anything, you're probably, you know, having some, you know, want to talk to your broker. Let's see. Average points, you know, it varies per day. I mean, I'm looking for 10 profitable trades. I set goals. Okay, everything's about goals. Everything's about, you know, 10 trades. Everything's about time frames. There's rules for everything. How many contracts would typically be traded? Well, you know, you don't need a 10K account, because if, you know, for example, if you have a 10K account on the NQ, you're trading, you could be with a discount broker giving you 500 a contract. You could be trading 20 contracts. You're not going to be trading 20 contracts on the NQ. You know, at that point, you're probably going to be going to the S&P. I don't think there's that big of a deal for commissions, profits. You know, I like to say in most of my ads that 200 for 1 contract is a good day for a beginning trader. You know, some people are shooting for, you know, $100 a day on 1 contract. You know, I use a 20 period EMA. You know, it takes a while to trade this. You know, you have to learn to trust, and it takes a lot of practice. That practice isn't, you know, it's not a quick, easy thing. So when you first start out, you know, you're practicing, and you move to 1 contract when you start trading sim, and then from sim you stay in 1 contract for a while until you're really comfortable with 1 contract. There's rules for everything. You know, there's literally 4 trades, 2 directions. That's 8 trades, 3 negative indicators that keep you out of trades. I like to say there's 500 and some combinations. Okay, 8 to the 3rd power, about 500 and some combinations of or rules that you have to watch out for. Okay, not super complex, because a lot of them are duplicated in different directions, but they're there. You know, there's a couple guys in here in the room today. I think I got a couple past students. I got a couple people that have actually been to group before. You know, and well, I guess you guys can't talk to each other, but you know, when you're in group, you can talk to some of the other traders, some of the other students. You can talk to me, you know, when you're checking it out. It's not so subjective. I know it seems like it, but it's not. And that's one of the things a lot of people think about price action. It's subjective. Okay, we got about a minute or 2 left. I just want to talk about the discounts one more time. So, you know, if you want to join, you know, over the next week, let's just say, it's $200 off the day group, $100 off the evening group. That's the discount I'll offer. It's not mechanical at all. Okay, there's nothing mechanical about this except for the rules. You click on the lines. You click on the lines. You click, when it comes to it, you draw the lines manually. You put them in on your chart. You wait for it to enter, and you enter. The price is $9.99 for the day class, $7.99 for the evening class. I'm sorry, it's all on my website too. If anybody take a look at NQTrader.us, a lot of information up there. You can sign up directly on the web. We take credit cards, not PayPal. You can always dispute your credit card if you're unhappy. I haven't had anybody do that yet, okay? The trading is all done via GoToMeeting. It's all, you know, live. You can record the events. You can. I'm more than happy with you recording my classes and rewatching them. So we use GoToMeeting, audio and video. It's very similar to this. You can talk to other members. You can talk to the other guys in the class. Everybody in there is open. You know, everybody that's been trading it. You know, you can talk to old members. I'm not secretive about anything. You know, some people don't make it. Some people do. No, you can only do one or the other. It's one or the other. Okay, you either have to sign up for the morning class or sign up for the evening class. Different instructors, and the instructors get commissions. So, you know, they don't share. That's just the way it works. I actually teach the day class, and I have another instructor that teaches the evening class. Okay, so if anybody has any questions, you can call me or email me. I'll probably be bombarded with phone calls after this, but shoot me an email. I don't answer my phone. I have one former student that is an instructor. Thanks, appreciate it. And let's see. I guess that's really it, all I can cover right now. We're pretty tight for time. So I just want to thank everybody for coming by. Remember, NQTrader.us, info@NQTrader.us. Thanks from me. Thanks from Ninja. I just want to thank them. I trade everything on their software. They really help me out a lot. Great product. I also use kinetic data. So everything's there. Love these guys and appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, and I'll look for your emails. Have a good day.
Hello everyone and welcome to the NinjaTrader webinar room. Before we get started here today, I'd like to take a moment to test audio and video. If you can hear my voice and you can also see the picture I'm displaying in the room, please enter a Y into the chat room now. Alright, thank you very much for confirming that for me. My name is Patrick and I work as a NinjaTrader customer support representative here at our Denver, Colorado offices, and I'll be leading today's session. I want to thank everybody for joining today's Advanced Trade Management Level 1 training event. Pleased to announce that today's event is being sponsored by Back to the Future Trading. NinjaTrader has an extensive network of third-party trading educators and add-on providers. If you haven't done so already, you can check out all of our providers on the NinjaTrader website. We also provide free weekly partner introduction events so you can learn more about our partners and their services. You can find an upcoming schedule of those events at our ecosystem education link. Back to the Future Trading will be conducting a webinar on finding the 3 highest probability trading times each session. This will be conducted by Mike Leidick at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Wednesday, March 19th in this exact same room that you're currently in. Please join this event to learn more about their products and services and visit the NinjaTrader website to see all upcoming partner events. You can learn more about that event as well as register for it at our Learn More link I've entered into the room. Would like to begin by giving a brief history of NinjaTrader, which was founded in July of 2003 and raised the bar for real-time trading applications when it pioneered the introduction of advanced trade management. Since then, each release has introduced powerful customer-driven enhancements. With the release of the current version, which is NinjaTrader version 7, this gives traders of stocks, futures, and Forex around the world the most innovative trading features in the industry. Multi-series charting, advanced system development, and backtesting, as well as our industry-leading order entry features, makes NinjaTrader a true end-to-end trading platform for traders of all levels. NinjaTrader is a free application for advanced charting, market analytics, automated strategy development, and trade simulation. We only charge for our product if and when you decide to trade live through any of our over 100 supported brokers worldwide. Today's training event should last approximately 45 to 60 minutes. During this time, we'll be going over automated stop loss and profit target order submission, OCO orders, and intelligent strategies. We'll take a look at intelligent automatic trailing stops as well as automatic break-even stops. We'll also take a look at the volume-based simulated stop loss orders. We will go into the level 2 material, which includes automatic order chase on entry and profit target orders, automatic reversals, and the strategy selection modes. You can view videos on the new NinjaTrader YouTube channel at your own convenience, covering NinjaTrader tips and tricks, training events, and educational events taught by our NinjaTrader partners. You can find that on our YouTube training videos channel right there in the room. I would like to note that NinjaTrader is not a data provider or a broker. Therefore, you will need to connect to one of our supported data feed providers. NinjaTrader supports equities, futures, and Forex markets. Additionally, I'd like to provide you with a link covering the type of data these individual providers offer. I'd also like to note, Kinetic's been designed to be the optimal market data feed for the NinjaTrader 7 platform, and it is free for end-of-day data for stocks, futures, and for Forex. Streaming real-time quote service with Kinetic starts as low as $55 a month. If you'd like to learn more about Kinetic, please visit the website I've entered into the room. This time I'd like to place a poll within the room. This is, do you currently use NinjaTrader? Please press the 1 if you're a free license user, press the 2 if you're a lifetime license key holder, press the 3 if you're leasing a live license key, and if you're not currently using NinjaTrader, please click the 4. While you fill that out, I would like to mention NinjaTrader is a growing business, and word-of-mouth advertising helps us to keep our subscription fees low. So if you see value in the products and services we offer, we do appreciate any mentions of our company in any discussion boards or trading rooms you use, as well as with any friends, family, or colleagues who may be trading at this time. We'll go ahead and stop the poll right there and see what type of users we have here in the room today. And it looks like for the most part we have our free license users. I'm going to be using the free version of NinjaTrader as well. This is the version you can download from our website for free. And I'm going to use everything that's available from within the free version. So I haven't added anything additional to it, and there's no additional data feeds as well. So if you're not using NinjaTrader and you'd like to begin using NinjaTrader, I invite you to download the link and you'll be able to follow along with today's webinar with everything we do. I also want to thank our lifetime license users for joining us here today as well. And if you would like to begin trading live, like our lifetime license users, you can choose to purchase or lease the software, and you can do so at our subscriptions page. Any questions you have on purchasing or leasing NinjaTrader, you can send a note to sales@ninjatrader.com. I would like to remind everyone today's webinar is an interactive webinar, so I invite all of you to ask questions as we work through today's topics. I do ask that you keep the questions to the topic we're currently discussing, as this will ensure we're able to maintain the flow of the webinar. If any time during the webinar a question is asked as beyond the scope of today's session, I may refer you to send a note to support@NinjaTrader.com. Currently, we have a full staff of NinjaTrader representatives to promptly answer any questions you may have during our normal operating hours, which are between 8:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Monday through Friday. You should receive a response within 15 minutes. However, even after our normal office hours and on the weekends, we do have members of our staff working diligently to answer your questions. So if you're ever in need of assistance, please do not hesitate to contact us, and you'll be sure to get a response before the beginning of the next day. We'd also like to note that at the end of the session, we'll open up the room for any general NinjaTrader questions you may have if we do have time at the end of the webinar. I would like to add a few more links into the room for helpful NinjaTrader resources you may want to bookmark. First is our upcoming online events, such as the one you're currently attending. Next will be our online help guide. Within our online help guide, we also have video libraries, we have videos, and you can find the full library of those videos at the link I've added into the room. Another great resource for information on NinjaTrader is our support forum, and you can find that link in the room. And before you begin trading live with NinjaTrader, we do advise to take a look at the risks of electronic trading. And this just serves as a reminder there are some things you need to be aware of before you begin trading live with NinjaTrader. If there are no questions concerning today's topic, I'd like to go ahead and get started. As we go through today's session, I'm going to be providing links into the room for the sections we'll be covering. I'm going to go ahead and bring up my NinjaTrader Control Center onto the screen. My first step here today is to go to the File menu, go to Connect, and select the Simulated Data Feed. The Simulated Data Feed is internally generated data. It doesn't reflect the current market, and it is fake data. However, using the Simulated Data Feed, we have a trend slider window that appears. Left-clicking and dragging this slider up or down allows us to make the market bullish or bearish, respectively, going up or down in that trend. So we can actually use it to test out ATM strategies, for example, without waiting for the exact market conditions. You can find a link into our simulated data feed there. Once we're fully connected, we'll see our bid, ask, and last update, and we'll see Connected Simulator in green in the bottom left-hand corner. And you'll see your trend slider here. And as I mentioned, you can left-click and drag it up or drag it down to trend the market up or down. Next up, I'm going to go to the File menu and go to New, and I'll select a static Superdome. Oh, sorry about that. If you don't have the option for the static Superdome, you can use the dynamic Superdome. Everything I do with the static Superdome will be done in the same manner through the dynamic Superdome. All right, I'll go ahead and collapse our control center and bring that over to the right. We'll bring into view our Superdome there. Find information on the NinjaTrader Superdome at the link in the room. To access NinjaTrader's Help Guide, you can go to the Help menu on our Control Center and select Help, or you can press the F1 key on your keyboard with the window you have selected. So here I've selected the Superdome and I press F1. It'll open it up to the Superdome section of the Help Guide. On my Superdome, I'll need to select an instrument. So here I'm going to select our Emini S&P June contract. And we can see the information updating there. I'm not going to go into detail over the Superdome. We do have our Superdome Basics webinar that you can find on our upcoming online events, as well as our YouTube channel. Basic overview, this is the price ladder display with the buy, price, and sell columns. I'll be referring to these throughout today's webinar. We have our market buttons listed on the bottom. I'll use those for the most part for order entry, and I'll show you how to use other orders later in. We have our reverse, flat, and close, and then we have our menus down here. These menus include our instrument, our account, our time in force, and our order quantity. The menu we're going to focus on throughout the webinar is going to be our ATM strategy drop-down menu. When you first click on this menu, you have two options. These include custom and none. To begin creating an ATM strategy, you'll need to select custom. For information on the ATM strategy in NinjaTrader, you can visit our help guide link in the room. Now with the ATM strategy parameters, if you're not seeing this section of your Superdome, you may have it collapsed, and the expand and collapse button is listed to the left of your reverse button. So we'll click on that button, and it should collapse the Superdome or expand it, depending on where it was previously. In addition to the ATM strategy parameters, you'll notice here they're set to ticks. You also have the option to set them to price or percent. To do that, you'll right-click in your Superdome, select the Properties menu. In the General section, you'll scroll down to the parameter type, and here you'll see in the drop-down menu we have percent, price, and ticks. I'm going to use ticks for today's presentation, so everything I do here will be the number of ticks away from the entry price for our stop and profit. Listed below the parameters are 1, 2, and 3 target radio buttons that allow us to develop multiple target ATM strategies. We'll just start out with our first target, just being a single target here. The order quantity for a single target is going to be the order quantity set here on the Superdome. So if I set this to 9, you can see the quantity is reflected as 9 on the ATM strategy. So I'm going to go ahead and set this order quantity to 3. And then listed down here, we'll go to our next parameter, which is our stop loss. Now the reason I set our quantity to 3 will get more apparent as we begin to develop multiple targets with our ATM strategies. Now going back to that stop loss there, the stop loss, as we mentioned, the ticks, this is going to be the number of ticks away from your average entry price. So if I enter here at 12.48 even long, then 8 ticks below that, if I set this to 8 ticks here, 8 ticks below 12.48 would be 12.46 even. Listed below that is our profit target. Profit targets can